Tuesday 1693 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today we're doing Choshen Mishpat, Siman Reis Samach Beis, Sif Vav through Tes Vav. V'matzah davar she'yisiyah she'bayla mimenu. He found something from which the owner gave a pope. Gonchamu vayla chesukis, such as they made the formal pronouncement of woe for the loss of my pocket. Haviyish but Simon even has a Simon. Reish Shemotza belongs to the finder. Shabbaliyah Archayish as long as he came to his hands after Yush. Find something which is it clearly indicates that it's been lost for a long time from its owner. Needs to it's found a place where it would not be safeguarded. Finally, the owner still gave up both. It belongs to the person who found it. If it's a simon in its body or its place. When he says, woe to the loss of my pockets, it's only by lost object or something similar. Where also we can assume by default there's yush. Somebody has a debt he's finding it hard to collect. Even though he says, woe to the loss of my pocket, ain't yush. That's not yush. He said this as because he's dubious. Doubtful. But where the certain kinds of obligation, where the hopelessness is also by default. Such as a bandit, who's chayav to his obligation to a Jew for mace, and the bandit died, I guess. And the owner gave hope. He said, well, even though over time the opportunity arose, perhaps he can collect it. Haviyush is a yush. Okay, with this he says back as it works out well, whatever is in Simon Kuf Sama Gimel Sivji base. Zayin, finding parts become clarified that Aveda Shabali out of Motze, a lost object comes to the finder. Couldn't be used before the loser gave up hope. So you have to get back option. Even though Yesh took place afterwards. Yesh when a person is not aware is not considered to be Yesh. In other words, there's no such thing as a subconscious Yesh. Yesh was that shit. That's a question. Came the Yesh Africa since type of Yesh like Africa. Lama like Nam Motze. Actually, other why does the finder not acquired, even though it's ready in his hand. For Ray Sochim Africa, he should acquire at that point from Africa. Mazeti the Rabbi saying from this, our rabbis inferred the Yesh Enok ever garment the Yesh is not like absolute Hefker. That's by account of some Vade Kenu. That's certainly the case. The Hefker, Mafker, or Adam as a Davar Meyad Taito. But Hefker, a person releases his ownership on his own volition, mitzaro, and of his own will. You can only be mafker something which is in your shus. Under your jurisdiction right now. But so which is not in your jurisdiction, hefker. Hefker does not apply to it. But Yesh is the opposite. Sheibnei onus because he's compelled to so he is removes something which is not in his jurisdiction. Shaimelim that derives the Yesh Kohen because it says that which is lost for him. The Dafka Sharak Mimenu Avud V'Yach Acher Nimtzeis, specifically saying which is lost for him, but somebody else has it. Chayav Lachzir. Then you have to give it back. Yesh Bailim Shavim Mimenu Ne Yesh. Where the owner gave up hope, because and also everybody it's lost from any other person. Might say it hasn't yet come to the finder. Might say then it belongs to the finder. The finder gets it. From this we deduce it has to be lost at the time Yehush occurs. So it came down of the Motze before Yehush. The finder got it before the Yehush took place. Locally, it doesn't require the base. Because when it's lost to him, it's not lost to any other person. It's not lost to other people. It's a story about a special case. Not we're extrapolating from the special case of Avudim Mikol Adam to a regular case of Aveda. But this we're learning out that this case, the Yerushalmi's source case of Asher Tova Mimenu is the which is a case where you have to give it back. is the case where it's not Avudim Mikol Adam. Case where it is Avudim Mikol Adam is the case of Yerush. But that means it's not in the hands of the finder either. It's in nobody's hands. It's in the finder's hands. The Yerush doesn't take effect. That's what the Yerushalmi is saying. Since we extrapolate, the Yerush always has to take place before the finder gets it. Actually, let me ask. Before, let's go back there. When it comes hands on Motzi for years, look on it. It was lost from the original owner. It wasn't lost from all people. Mashkasav Eina Avoda Matsui, how it just says it's not lost and it's found. Klamar Eina Avud Ve'ena Matsui. No, it means that it's not. Has to be not. If it's not Avud and not Matsui, it's not Avud and not Matsui. That is. Where do you have the language for? I'm not sure. I guess according to Ushami's language, it's called Eino Avud Umatsui. Klamar Eino Avud ve'Eino Matsui. If it's not lost, or it's not, and something it's not lost, I'm not sure it means Eino Matsui here. It's obviously going to Lashi Ushami. I don't see what exactly is going on in Ushami. Okay, I know what's going on. Whatever the Ushami is talking about. Bracket says, El Peru Shami, Peru Base, Matziv Zaka, Rashi, Masu Matziv Veda, but Matziv Chabes. Okay, I'm not sure what he means. What is referring to? Masu Eno Avuda Matsui. It's not calling for Ushami, so I don't know what that means here. Chasviation Glam Shamar, the dog Doim was saying that the came in the use low dime Hefka is not like Hefka, ain't a better Yotzim, which was about him, Achbale Motzi, it's not considered to exit the nominal ownership of the owner until it comes to the hand of the finder. Even though by Hefka, immediately when you're mafkir, it's no longer yours in any way, shape, or form. If he wants to acquire his Hefker before someone else acquires it, it says do a mice in order to acquire it. Just looking at it, it's not going to acquire for him. But even though he said, woe to my lost wallet, and the wallet lost in my pocket, and the Yotzim doesn't leave his jurisdiction, actually they emotze until it comes to the hands of the finder. So if the owner sees the lost object after Yush, as long as it's before a finder found it, Zacha acquires it just by seeing it. It makes sense. Came the Yush they own it since the Yush is because you're compelled to give up. Came Shabbat onus once the compelling onus has passed. After he saw his object over a Yush. Fascinating idea. I also say the Yush have a also Yush is like a kind of removal and forgiveness to anybody who finds it. And therefore, when he himself found afterwards, it turns out it was mistaken mechila, which is not effective. In brackets, he says, so I guess they doesn't. So the Yush is not good Yush. I see with Shemish because this question have the famous machlekes, whether to what extent Yush is like Hefker. Test. Kafish's bar is actually explain how the din Yush the Aveda Yush the Gneva, the din of Yush of a lost object, the din of Yush of a stolen object. The shame should be Gneva. So Yesh Shem Rishus Acher Yush. So like by Gneva, you need to have Yush, and then has to change jurisdiction after Yush in order for it to be acquired legitimately by the next owner. So the Aveda ain't correct. Yush is Shlar Chachar B'Yedei Yush, and then afterwards it comes to the finder. I feel the same even those who hold that Shinus works before Yush, I think it's the Rambam. That's because the person who acquired it, the person to whose Rishus is Nishtaneh, acquired it when it already wasn't in the jurisdiction of the original owner, which is the Ganav and the Shus of the Ganav. Mashakin Aveda is a slow boy which is as opposed to the lost object has now come to the jurisdiction of the finder. I think which is still in the jurisdiction of the owner. And found before Yehush, the new guy is a shomer. It's a watchman. What's the dissemination test? But Ganav L'Shavse, that's not relevant by Ganav. Because the Ganav, let's pick it up as a mind steal, not to safeguard. The finder only has to make an announcement if he finds a sign in the object of the lost item, or if even the sim is not in the object, and it's the count of sharp, but it's not KNOTS, or midasa, or its weight, or mishkol, or its measure, mishkol, or its weight. Even doesn't have one of these things. But it's a simon in the place where you found it. Like it's clear it was left there intentionally. Then was forgotten. And the person who finds it will announce, I found such and such lost object. And the owners will give a simon, you found in such and such a place. All those are simon. That's what's said in Reisam, that if it's definitely left, you shouldn't touch it. This place is safeguarded at least a little bit. A place that's not safeguarded, all night the machers will take it and announce it. If there's no simon, even in place, the place where it's found, even the simon of place, such as it's clear that it fell. Somewhere we can assume that the owner immediately felt it when it fell for him. Such as it's a heavy object, so therefore, count of its weight, he must have certainly felt it. Because of its significance, it belongs to the finder because the Yush took place. It was mysterious when he knew that it fell. Became a chamber simon because it has no simon of all the other matter. So it came to the finder's hand in a permitted way. If we don't have these details, so you have to get back, even though the owner gave up afterwards. Came to the other because he acquired it before Yehush. He became a shamer. That's what Chazal call Yehush Lamidas, subconscious Yehush, which has not yet taken effect yet. So that's the wrong term, subconscious Yehush. Yehush, you're not aware to be Misyosh. So the Ima means the loser would know about from the lost object. Misyosh would give him hope. Came to the other diamonds, he doesn't know yet. I got lost. You can't say that he gave up hope. Chazal said that most Muvazars, so he finds scattered money, or cakes of dates, figs, the haim tainim shenidjusu yachad. These are figs that pressed together. Sheosim osam, go and make into cakes. Or you find loaves of a baker. Shum Shavasem, they all made in the same mold, they have no sign. Or strings of fish, there's no simon, love kashim, not the way they're tied, nor the way they're in their count. Shum Chorazin king, because everybody strings fish like this. Or Shabasa piece of meat, do not have a sign. The piece of meat should have a sign, such place so they make all pieces of meat equal in their weight. Also tongues of purple dyed wool, which is a combed and extruded wool. Kain Lushan looks like a tongue, but it's and it's dyed purple. Or the strands of wool which are not dyed. Or stalks of flax. It's the flax after you comb it and you tie it. Everybody ties them the same way. If anyone there's no simon. For him, and similar in other things, anybody similar don't have a simon. Belongs to the finder. All these cases, we assume that the owner realized they're missing before this guy found him. Or either because they're significant, like money. The other mashik is called shark, where a person feels in his pocket all the time. Or machmaskon, because of their weight. Money, it's a pishtan, like the stalks of flax. Chol eladvarim, all these things ain't derech lanichon. People don't normally put them down deliberately. They must have fallen there. Since they don't have a sin, we assume the owner gave up hope. Somebody finds loaves of babites, which are unique, or dried strands of wool, or chatichos basar dagim, or pieces of meat and fish. Im yeshvim simin, they have a sign. They have a sign. Kagon such as shenechtach shlokim moshikum chotchim. They're cut as not everybody cuts. Ken go davar sheishlo simin. So the ain't there simin chayev lachris. You'd base. Matzah pairs moves on find scattered food. Im nikosh nicham sham. It was clear that the guy left him there. Lo yigabayim shouldn't touch him. Nikosh derech lefila. It's clear they fell there. Areim shlo they belong to the finder. The stomach is father by miyabes sashu. We soon know if where it's meaning gave up hope. Shum do davar ma malchuk, because it's food. Veim kemos. And therefore it's like money which you check it all the time. Some say some say it's only if the person finds it knows the donor gave hope. But by default, we don't know that he became aware and gave up hope. It's not like money. There it talks about you found it in the place of the silo. Found small bundles of stalks of produce, grain, place where people go, such as a public thoroughfare, simta, an alley with slavdas, and unplanted fields where people are allowed to walk. Harei still belongs to him. There's no sign. The Kulin Shabbos are all the same. Also the place that's found. There's no simon. They get rolled around by the people kicking at them. Animals kicking them. It's not found in a place where it was originally fell. And the owner of this lost object came aware of this immediately. Find him in a private jurisdiction, or in a planted field, which people, the masses, don't walk through. I find them and it looked like they fell. Such as scattered, so we get to keep them. I found a way which they deliberately placed there. You have to make an announcement. Even though I have a simon, the place is simon. And what's on lumos? They found them in sheaves, which are large bundles. Whether it's a public or private domain, you have to take and announce. These zozim come, and since they're large, they don't not move from their spot. But by the other, my people's walking. Yes, there's simon makom. Therefore, there's a simon, a place. But the makom ain't a simon. A makom sherech me'on litain shom chapetz keilu. A makom is not a simon, where it's a makom that many people put their objects, such as barrels at the riverbank. Ain't a simon shakol parking shabbos. Everybody loads and unloads the cargo there. Chen kol keitzim zev ayim sif tesvav. Yudah Kosva two writes on Motzi Chavish Yain Mishal Shemin Mishal Yain. So he finds a jug of oil or wine, ugrogros or dry dates, v'tvua and grain. So it's before the if it's before the warehouses are open, because there's a sign in the way they're marked. After the warehouses are open, there is a simon. Don't make an announcement. For if you also if you give it simon, ain't a oil, does not affect them. Shema machro, because maybe this guy sold it. Remembers the simon from before the sale. Anything which is made for sale, we're afraid it was sold. Just like by coin, we assume was spent. As I'm assuming you'd sign. Kosba also writes a dafka b'meleim. Shkol midas and shovels. It's only by full barrels. Well, equally full. There's barrels which are partially empty. There's a simon in the measure which is in them. Anything similar as well. Tezvav. Hamotzi tzibur peros. Somebody finds piles of fruit, or peros bekeli, or fruit in a container, or klik moshu, or a container itself. He's making an announcement. There's a sign in the keli before mass production. And by fruit, if there are a lot of them piled up, have a minyan simon, then the count is a sign. Usarech is one. I'm sorry, there are a lot of piles. Then the minyan of the piles is simon. Usarech is one pile. Have a makom simon, the place is simon. But peros ain't derech miyalim lijos aleim, as because fruit people do not normally step on them for the and roll them makom from place to place. Chen has learned shdakim lijos aleim u'galgalon. And also things where people do step on them and do just kick them around. Like small bundles, shame and sin, which don't have a simon. Sin don't sit in the place. Like we said before. Yesh barkichos atzman simon. If the bundle themselves have a sign, if you must have just arrived, we find just arrived with the mom should get kicked around. Chayav achriz still make an announcement. Lachashina came shagli Jerusalem near just the same by himself. We don't assume that since the however that. Since they're normally stepped on, that there was a sin which was rubbed out and the Bailam gave up hope. That we don't say, because the Kaimla, we hold similar to the doors, have a simon. Even a sin which is normally going to be stepped on and could be obliterated that way, still simon as long as it's not. Can't anything similar as well.